San Francisco to consider $5 million reparation check for black citizens, and it's actually, they're getting pretty close to it, are considering a draft plan for a reparation package that would pay $5 million lump sum payments to eligible black residents, in addition to eliminating personal debt and tax burdens and providing guaranteed annual income of at least $97,000 for 250 years to an undermined number of black guys. I'm a little bit flabbergasted. Let me read that one more time. Tax burdens and providing guaranteed annual incomes of at least $97,000 for 250 years. The plan also proposes allowing black families to purchase homes in expensive cities for just $1. Critics have slammed the proposal as financially impossible, with one estimate suggesting it could cost the city roughly $50 billion, and another suggesting that each non-black family in the city would have to pay at least $600,000. However, proponents argue that $5 million figure is actually low when considering the harm caused to black community. The state of California is also considering some reparations proposal that would cut $360,000 checks for every eligible black citizens.
So the state of California, can I point something out? So yesterday I was reading, and it's very interesting. When did California abolish slavery in California?
They never had slavery.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's a trick question. And then I looked back at all the other states that actually had legalized slavery. Massachusetts, Connecticut. It was really shocking. California has never had slavery. So even going back into California history to say, well, at this point, we really feel the state, was not acting and had done this and had these laws. No. So how does the state offer reparations for something that actually historically it never actually did?
See, you're thinking 2022. It's 2023, and it's not reparations for slavery. It's reparations for racism. So they're talking about California had like discrimination. What they have, those covenant clauses in a contract, like if I sold you a house, both Dianne Feinstein, Michael Huffington, when they ran against each other for Senate, I think it was in 94, it turned out they had a house that had a clause that says, I will never in perpetuity sell this house to an African American, and people ignore them, but they're still in the books. So this is paying for all of that. And the point is, it's never going to end. And the point of reparations, right? Pat, you burn down my house, you give me the value of my house and some cost, suffering, then I have reparations. I'm restored back to zero. The point of reparations is once it's resolved, you move on. But does anyone seriously think that if this actually happens, that it's like, okay, racism is done and we're going to move on to society and people are going to stop complaining about racism in California? Of course not. I'm in favor of this, because the faster California gets driven into the ground and the more of kind of a understanding that, government is just basically a shakedown system, the better it'll be for everyone.
But how does it work? Because it's San Francisco, so it's a city. So it's not the state, right? So
they'll figure it out. Level. Oh, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
They just tried to ban 3D printers in all of California.
For what?
Because the law says, I don't know if they passed it yet, but if any object is used primarily or largely to 3D print guns, it's going to be, they're trying to ban it in California.
Can you find that article?
Yeah, look up 3D printing guns.
There it
California.
is. It's right there. I just saw it. Go the fourth one. Yeah. California passes new that's 26. That's an older one. Yeah, if you can find a newer one.
It was just in the last couple of weeks.
It's pretty wild to be thinking about this $5 million. So you know what it makes me think about? When I was talking to Roland Martin, and Roland said, I grew up in this community, and I'm like, okay. And what happened? I left. Why'd you leave the community? Everybody left. I don't understand. If you really want to help the community, why are you leaving the community? Well, because everybody else left. So anyways, he'll respond to this on Twitter with some kind of a link and file, and I like it when he does that because it allows me to go and look up a few other things. But what's going to happen if they can buy expensive homes for $1? Okay? So you mean to tell me they can go buy homes, expensive homes, at $1, and they're going to get $5 million and $97,000 over how many years?
250?
250 years, man. If they're going to live 250 years, that's respect, right? If you got that kind of
but no, not right? necessarily. If inflation, like 5 years, 97,000 is going to be worth like a soda.
Yeah. But if you think about that, then here's a perfect case study for people that are going to say, well, I can't believe you. If they do this, you're actually right. If they do this just to see what happens as a case study, it's a great case study for everybody else. Let's see what happens. I'm actually really curious what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Go for it. Do it. Give them the money. Let's move forward. Let's see what happens to San Francisco. Let's see if San Francisco becomes a better city. Let's see if it becomes more vibrant. Let's see if more business owners want to move to San Francisco. If it does, then guess what? We officially have a case study. If it doesn't, you also officially have a case study that it doesn't work.
I think we maybe have some, I agree with that. And I think we have some mini case studies out there. When you take a look at mega lotto winners and what they do, they effectively allow their relatives to buy a house for $1 because they just give it to them. And when you take a look at also athletes of all diversities and all backgrounds, you take an athlete that's suddenly given this monstrous contract when they get drafted by the NBA and the NFL. Remember, hockey and baseball, you have this rookie contract that goes 5 years, as you know, Pat. But then you've got the sports where you just walk in the door and you've won the lotto, right? Because you're one of the top 3 kids coming out of college, and there you go. And then you buy a house for your mom, and you give a car to your brother, and you give house to your sister. Go take a look at the condition of those assets, and go take a look how they care for them.
I'm telling you.
We have little mini case studies that follow exactly what you're showing. People will not take care of it.
I want to see it, though. I want
everyone else to see it.
Yes
I want
or no?
America to see it and say, this didn't work.
I want to see it.
We figured it out.
Let me actually.
We have unity in the house.
They say right here.
Wait, can I say some more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Chinese were enormously oppressed in California, so they're going to be next on this list, and they have more of a reason historically with California than the African Americans do.
So reparations for them as well.
Am I wrong?
What a noble request.
Does it not make more sense for them?
Sure.
There were all these laws.
That was my question: is the slippery slope effective here? Because right here it says.
Why don't you throw Iranians in there?
There you go. Where does this
used to live in California and go there for vacation, now live in Florida? I think we should figure something out there.
Where's your check?
Iranians, only Americans know about oppression. If you watch the corporate press, you and I, our families, we don't know about oppression. No one left the elevator when we stepped in.
Very healthy upbringing, you know.
It was nice. Everyone had a party.
Peaceful.
Adam, just clear your throat real loud and go for it.
Rosewater ice cream.
Well, it's a slippery slope effect. So it says it's going to cost the city roughly $50 billion. So let's say, you're a white guy, you're an Asian guy, you're a Latin guy, whatever, you're an Iranian guy, and you're like, yeah, all right, cool. I agree. Maybe this is something they should do. Let's, make right the sins of our forefathers. All right, so let's say you do agree with this. Okay, great.
Sure.
But by the way, part of this is each non-black family in the city would have to pay at least $600,000. So hold on. So as a white guy, all right, maybe you can make the argument, all right, well, you're not black. Your forefathers were maybe the oppressors. All right, it's time for you to pay. All right, well, now the Mexicans got to pay, though. The Asians got to pay. The Native Americans got to pay. Like, where does it end? Like, how do you determine who ends up paying? So if it's all non-black residents, so now we're all paying. So my family just moved here 4 years ago or 40 years ago from Mexico. I have to pay for something. It's just like, where does this end?
Politics isn't about logic or reason. It's about power. And that is kind of central to anarchist thought. So what you're saying makes logical sense. But again, this isn't even about reparations in the sense of reparations of making people whole. This is simply basically a cash grab and a way to kind of get a voting block in place in perpetuity, quite obviously.
But
Wow,
if you're going for a voting block, you already have the vote. This is as liberal city as it gets, San Francisco.
This also appeals to Karen because white liberal women love stuff. Am I wrong? Love stuff
Let
like
me
this.
tell you.
Karen.
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm telling you right now, Adam, I want to see this happen.
Oh, yes.
I'm for it as well.
This
I
is
want
why-
to see it happen. And you know who else I want to see duplicate this? New York City.
This is
Oh, do it, baby.
I want San Fran to do it, New York City to do it, Chicago to do it, LA to do it. Do it. Let's see what happens.
This is why I donated money to John Fetterman. I want to see and he's my candidate for president. I want to see this happen. The faster the Senate becomes Arkham Asylum, the better it is for everybody.
You just want to see
That's
the
not
country
cool.
burn.
By the way,
I'm serious.
There's a part of it that's funny, but there's a part of it that honestly, for me, we have a relative, and I'll tell you what, this guy was a very prominent figure on TV, okay? Very, in the Persian community. And at the tail end of his career, he had a stroke. And the family was okay with people coming and visiting him, and there's no way he would ever want people to come and see him in a condition like that. It was horrible, if you know what I'm talking about. And the son was not okay with this. Like, this is not cool for this to be happening. I can't say anything. I'm a nobody in the family to say, hey, guys, what are you doing here?
Sure.
They have to make the decision. If something like that happened to you and I, and if my wife put me into public, I would be I'd be waiting for her in heaven for her to show up and say, what were you thinking? Allow me to be in public. Fetterman's family and Democrats to just put him up front like that, to say, well, he's great, he's this, he's that, that's a form of abuse, what they did to that guy.
He could have quit at any time. You're removing agency from him. He has aphasia. He's not literally like Terry Schiavo, brain dead.
Yeah.
And this guy's entire life has been seeking political power. This is the monkey's paw, right? It's like you have a genie's wish. It's like, I wish I was senator. It's like, all right, but it's going to cost you. He's like, I don't care. And now I'm hoping for the day when some on the Senate floor, when his head just explodes and covers 99 other senators with brain parts, blood, and skull bits.
You would want to see that.
Oh, desperately.
Well, you are an anarchist. There you go. You just
I'm an American.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
every American worth his salt wants to see a senator's head, just like JFK, head explode out of nowhere.
You just took it to a whole different level.
Oh, it is a whole
your
different level.
game just went to a whole different level.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.